when I was at Dell, right, there was this guy that I didn't think was who I thought was, I didn't think was working as hard as me in the programming, right? He was very social, right? He had extroverted tendencies. And this guy, when I got to Twitch as a software engineer, he was a senior software engineer. So my Dell internship, right? Think about how much a senior software engineer makes at Twitch, which I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know. Just from what they say on Levels FYI, they're saying it's like 400K, right? So while I was trying to build my career, he made hundreds, if not millions of dollars while I got my master's degree, while I was a contractor in the industry, and while I worked at a company that is not as prestigious as Dell, which is M&T, because this guy understood that you cannot max your XP in technical skills. You need to have strong soft skills. He was able to make millions before I even got my first six-figure job. And so this is the Black Tech Experience, a channel about innovating, inspiring, and breaking down barriers in tech. And if you haven't watched my video or heard my story on why I failed my Google internship, it's going to be extremely important to appreciating why I failed my Dell internship. So hopefully the video is up here and give you a short synopsis. I didn't do as well as I liked, and I didn't get a return offer. So when I was going to Dell, right, I was applying, or the lead up to how I got into Dell, I was applying to all these different companies, Ubers, whatever, and I wasn't passing the Leetcode. And I finally got into Dell, which is a non-programming first company. It's a hardware focused company. Although it's very prestigious, it wasn't compared to Google, it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be in software. I love coding, right? And so when I got the opportunity through applying for an internship, I got the opportunity to be an intern at Dell, and I didn't take advantage of the opportunity. I think this is important to realize how important relationships are inside of careers. Like, I think many people, I'll say I was guilty of it. Like, in my career, I've often thought that if I had tremendous skill in Leetcode and technical ability, that I could get any job that I wanted. But that's so untrue. This game is so much about relationships. And so I did my Dell internship. It was in Austin, Texas. And I was working on making a natural language processing pipeline in order to do calls. So calling different various APIs for speech to text in order to analyze, could we route the caller to the correct call line through AI? And it was a success. Like, I did a lot of great work. I showed a lot of technical acumen. I think it was just a great opportunity, had a great presentation. And so why did I fail? I think with my time there, I think people could tell that I was super interested in returning to Google, right? I was working my ass off to get back. Like, when I went home, I was studying Leetcode. On the weekends, I didn't go out and party. I just did Leetcode. And so I was like, if you've done that for like 3 months, right? 3 months of no partying, no going outside and doing Leetcode, then you would think that I would just ace the Google interview, right? Because all you have to do is just study hard, right? Working hard is good enough. When I left Dell, right, I did not make relationships. I did not talk to people like, hey, I'm interested in returning here. When I left Dell and I applied to Google again, they did not even give me the opportunity to apply. Based upon the feedback that was written about me from my internship, they said, we're not even going to give this guy an opportunity to even interview with us anymore. And so I don't even think you guys know how big that is. Google is super hard to get into. Probably number one as far as technical ability to get into Google. And it's a lot easier to get into Google, to get into Microsoft, to get into or get into Meta as a student. They give you a lot more, leeway. They don't ask the hardest questions, right? And so this was big. And so by the time I realized that I would not get another opportunity with Google, I was no longer in Austin. I was no longer in front of people with Dell. And so what I should have done is, during my time there, I should have expressed, I would like to get a return offer, even though it was not a tech company. Even though it would not give me the opportunity to program as much as I would have liked, it would have saved me a lot of time in the industry, right? I'll give you a spoiler alert. When I left school, I did not have a job. I split my time between two different things, which is going to get my master's degree and getting a job. I should have focused on one because I didn't get both, right? I didn't get either because I was too focused on both. And so, if I could go back in time and tell myself something that I would do differently, I'd be network with your manager, tell them that you're interested in a return offer, right? Talk to people outside of other teams, see if they need somebody. It would have been so easy to get a job at Dell as an intern if I just would have said I wanted it, right? If I was not just this so socially unaware of how the relationship games work, right? And so when I left Dell and I got my first job in computer science, I was making $50K, right, as a contractor for American Express. And the network. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was responding to a comment. I made $50K. If I would have gotten into Dell, I would have been making 120, right? I would not have been doing as much programming as I would have liked. But when I was a contractor, I wasn't doing as much programming as I would have liked either. And so I should have been humble. I shouldn't have thought that, even today, I like to think to myself, like, man, if I put 10 hours into Leetcode right now for the next 3 months, there's no way that I would not pass the Google interview. But I seriously just saw online, somebody said, I've been studying for 3 months consistently for Google, right? And I didn't get in, right? I've seen people say, I've studied for a year and I've cheated and I've gotten in. So it's like, you got to remember who your competition is, right? You think that you might take 3 months off to study. Somebody's taking 6 months off and then they're lying their ass off too. So you got to keep that in mind. So to end the video, I just want to say relationships are 100 times more important than your Leetcode skills. Unfortunately, I've worked with people who have zero Leetcode skills at FANG companies, and they got in and they're making the same that I made, and sometimes they've gotten promoted to even make even more than me because they have relationships. Leetcode is what they ask people if they have no relationships with you, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not all Leetcode, but some people find there's a bunch of people in these big tech companies that found the back door where they didn't need a lot of Leetcode and they were able to get in. So as my friend Matthew has said, network, network, network. And let me know in the comments what you think. Do you feel like technical skills or relationships have played a bigger role in your success? But other than that, I would say deuces.